going to get started in child's pose. So the back of your mat, your knees are to the edge of the mat, resting your forehead on the mat and reaching your arms down. Just arriving in the space that you're in and seeing how your body feels this morning. Maybe pressing into your hands, feeling the support of the ground beneath you, and sinking a little deeper, releasing in your hips. Maybe rolling your forehead side to side, feeling the support on your head. And tuning into your breath. Taking a deep inhale, holding, and then exhale everything out. Let's do that again, and if you want, you can exhale out your mouth or through your nose if you prefer. So take a deep inhale, and then exhale everything out. And then seal your lips. And begin to breathe in and out through your nose, creating an easy rhythmic breath through your practice, Ujjayi breath. So taking another deep breath in through your nose and out your nose. You can tuck your toes and come up into downward facing dog. Maybe spreading your fingers out wide on the mat, pushing into the L's of your hand. I like to pedal it out, especially during my first downward dog, or shift my hips side to side. Just really feeling into your body and tuning into what you need, not only in this pose, but throughout your whole practice today. Remembering that my words are suggestions and that your inner listening is what makes the difference here. So finding one point to focus on at the back of your mat. Taking another deep breath in. Exhale and tiptoe forward to the front of your mat, coming into Ragdoll forward fold. You can grab opposite elbow points, releasing your neck, hinging at your hips, maybe creating a soft bend in your knees and bringing your chest closer to your thighs. And let everything just roll off your head. I like to imagine that feeling of the head opening and just releasing anything that's thoughts and busyness that's not needed. And then you can release your hands and then come up to extended mountain pose, reaching your arms up, creating space through the chest, maybe dropping the shoulders back, maybe looking up. And then bringing your hands to heart center. You can have a soft gaze at your fingertips or closing your eyes. And just creating an intention for your practice today. What brought you here? What do you want to create in this moment, in this day? Any greater joy, contentment, acceptance, vitality. Let that sink in from your head to your toes. And then we're going to start with some sun salutations. You can gently open your eyes if they're closed. You're going to inhale, reach up, look up, extended mountain pose, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, creating length through your spine. Then plant your hands and step back into high plank. And lowering to low plank. Upward facing dog, expanding through the chest, dropping the shoulders, and then pressing back into downward facing dog. Again, pressing into your fingers and your big toe mound of your foot. Pushing your inner ankles back and hugging your outer shins in. And coming back to that soft gaze at one point. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward and step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose, reaching up. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands. You can come back into chaturanga or you can lower all the way down to the mat. And coming into cobra or upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Starting to step into the flow and just moving with your breath, connecting your breath with your movement. Let's take another deep breath in. Empty all the way out. Look forward, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose, pressing down through your feet. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And then again, step or jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, rolling your inner edges of your feet back. Downward facing dog. Pressing into your fingers. Coming back to the breath. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, bend your knees. Step or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then we're going to come into chair pose. So bend your knees, reach high, and check to make sure your feet, your knees aren't coming over your toes. And you're hugging in, belly button to spine, creating a neutral pelvis. There's a little bit of your tilt of your tailbone down. And then extending long through the side bodies. You reach up, look up, and then hinge forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then plant your hands, step back, high to low, push up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Extend your right foot long behind you and really press into your hands, getting long from your hand to your foot. And then curling your knee to your nose, step forward for warrior one. You can spin the back heel flat. Good, taking time to set up the foundation of your pose. Checking to make sure that your front foot is at 12 o'clock. Your knee is over your ankle. And as you ground down into your feet, you can reach up and maybe look up. You can cactus your arms here. Sometimes feels good, opening the chest. And take one more deep breath in. And then bringing your hands back to the mat, coming into high to low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Extend your left foot long behind you, pressing into the L's of your hands, pushing through, getting long from your hand all the way through the back of your foot. See if you can square your hips to the mat and then curling your knee to your nose, stepping forward, warrior one. Good. Spinning your back heel flat, pressing into the outer edge of the back foot, really hugging muscle to bone through the legs. That's your strength. And then looking for that ease, that expansion through the upper body. Taking another deep breath here, inhale. And then you're going to bring your hands back to the mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Coming back to your breath. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. Sit low, reach high, extending through the side bodies, dropping your shoulders, pulling your belly button to your spine, and then forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Extend your right foot behind you and step it through for warrior one. Coming up. And then back to the mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Extend your left foot behind you, bringing it forward for warrior one. Inhale, reaching up. And then hands back to the mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take another 2 breaths here. Another deep breath in. And then bend your knees, step or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. Move through this one more time. And forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. And chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Extend your right foot behind you. Bring it forward for warrior one. Good. Setting a foundation, come up, and then we're going to come right back down. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, expanding through the chest, downward facing dog. Extending your left foot behind you, coming forward for warrior one. Root down through your feet to rise up, and then hands back to the mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale it out. Lift your right leg and bend your knee and roll your hip open. Maybe take a couple knee circles here, just warming up your hip. And then you can stay here, or you can pivot on your back feet and flip your dog. Good. As you press down, you can reach up, expanding through the chest, and then flip back over, high plank. And then opening up for side plank. Good. You can drop that bottom knee, or you can press, keep legs pressing together as one. Try to lift your bottom hip up a little bit higher. Good, and then hands back to the mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Extend your right foot behind you and bring it through for crescent lunge. So staying high on the back foot. And good, taking time to set up your foundation. Checking to make sure that your back heel is over the big toe. You're looking for a 90-degree angle on the front leg, so maybe bending a little deeper. And then checking to square your hips to the front of the room. And then you can inhale, come up. Getting long through your side bodies, maybe looking up. And then bring your hands to heart center, and you're going to twist to the right. Good, you have a hugging in feeling between the two legs. And you take a deep inhale to get long. And then as you exhale, you twist. Beautiful. You can open your arms, allowing in expansion, more of what you want to have. Good. And then come around for warrior two. You can spin open. Good. Just taking a minute again to get intentional, right, about setting up your physical foundation. I love in warrior two just to really focus on the drishti. Where's your gaze? You have that soft gaze over your front fingertips. Good, and then you can come into extended side angle, bringing your front arm to your thigh or the ground. Top arm can come directly up or overhead if you get a long stretch through your side body. You can do a half bind or a full bind. Look at you, inspirational. Nice, peeling open. And then hands to the mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Bend your bring your left foot to the ceiling and then bend your knee, roll open. Take a couple hip circles here, making circles with your knee. Just warming up. You can stay or flip your dog. Pressing into the feet to lift your hips up, good, and dropping your head. Again, that opening, that expansion, good, and then flip back over, high plank, grounding through the hands and opening up to side plank. Good, hugging in through your body will give you that expansion, right? It's that polarity of that hugging in to expand out. Good, and then hands back to the mat, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Extend your left foot behind you and bring it through for crescent lunge. Again, front foot's at 12 o'clock, hugging in through the back leg and softening a little bit through the hips and then getting long through your side bodies, reaching up and then bringing your hands to heart center, and you're going to prayer twist to the left. Good. Just creating some space Opening up one point of focus and coming back to your Ujjayi breath. Good, and then you can spin open to Warrior Two, coming up and around. Good, checking to make sure your knee is tracking over towards the pinky edge of your foot. Where are we? Good, Warrior Two. Okay, and then dropping your front arm to your thigh, opening up for extended side angle. Again, you can extend the arm overhead or wrap it around for the half bind or the full bind. Wherever you are, just really tuning in, right? Finding your edge today on each side can be a little different. And then hands to the mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Again, just feeling into your body, maybe noticing any changes since we started the practice. Feeling the inner heat that you've created. You can bend your knees and step or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. Bringing your hands to heart center, prayer twist to the right. So pressing into the palms, seeing if you can bring them to your heart center. Good, and then opening up for that expansion, right? Checking to make sure your hips are staying in one line. And then release back down. Toe heel your feet apart to hip width. Grab your peace, take your peace fingers to your big toes. Halfway lift and then forward fold. Bending your elbows to the outer edges and hinging at your hips. Letting it all go. And then we release your hands, heel toe your feet back together. Come back into chair pose. And then hands to heart center, prayer twist to the left. Good, pressing into the hands, expand and open. Maybe pulling your hip back so it's in alignment with your, trying to, I'm off on the direction, but let's see that. Yeah, your right hip back. Good, and then you can release that, heel toe your feet apart. Grab your peace fingers, or sorry, we're on gorilla pose. So bring your hands under your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, forward fold. Feels good to kind of massage your hands here. Again, letting everything roll off down your spine. Creating space. And then you can release and heel toe your feet to the edges of the mat. Coming down into Malasana squat. Really creating that hugging in so you can have that sinking, but try to hug in so that you're pulling up a little bit and pressing into your, using your elbows to press into the legs and legs pressing back into the elbows. You can stay here or plant your hands for crow pose, or stay right here, spine. Beautiful. Then you can release your hands and then heel toe your feet back together and then slowly roll up. Extended mountain pose. And bringing your hands to heart center, coming into balancing poses. So taking a minute to feel your feet on the ground, growing roots through the four corners of each foot. Bringing your arms out wide, setting up for eagle. So your right arm goes under, bend your knees, right leg over. Trying to bring your shoulder or your elbows up to shoulders. And then you can release, bringing your arms back out. Eagle on the left, so left arm under, left leg over. Our breath here is super important, giving us access to the present moment, to that balance, that stability. Good, you can use your foot as a kickstand. And then go ahead and release that. We're gonna do it one more time. So right arm under, right leg over. Good. See if you can bring your elbows up to shoulders. Looking out through your front forearms. That soft gaze, it's through seeing one thing, you open to everything. Good, release. And eagle on the left. Left arm under, left leg over. Ground down through the standing leg. Softening through the shoulders, softening in the eyes. Good, and release. I'm going to take standing leg raise on the right. So you can bring your left hand to your hip. You can grab your right knee or your right big toe. Finding your balance, your roots for the standing leg. And you can open it to the right. Extending your left arm out long. Maybe looking out over the left hand. Then bring your right foot forward and see if you can extend the right foot full in front of you. Let's pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then swing it back for airplane. You're good, good.
Crashing.
Props. You can come to the dresser or the wall. Good. I like to imagine pressing into blocks under my hands to expand up through the chest. It can be hard. It looks like you might be on carpet too. I don't know if that makes it harder. Good. Pressing in through the back foot, bringing your hands to heart center, and then opening up for half moon. Left arm comes down, opening up. Good, coming into your 5 fingertips. Really hugging muscle to bone in the back leg. Coming back to your breath. And release that out. Good, you can shake it out here. And then coming back to standing. Take leg raise on the left. So grounding down through the right leg. You can grab your knee or your big toe. Finding your stability through the standing leg. And once you are hugging in, open out. Maybe reaching your right arm to the right. Just being gentle with yourself too. Whatever your body needs today. Good, looking out over the right hand. And then bringing your knee forward. You can extend your leg out. Again, we're going to try to pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then swing it back for airplane. Looking to keep your hips neutral, so facing the ground. And then that upward, that expansion through the chest. Maybe looking up a little bit. Good, and it's okay to wobble, come out, yeah. And then bringing your hands to heart center. You're gonna open up for half moon. Really hugging muscle to bone in the back leg. Coming into the one drishti, one focus. Good, and release that. Shake it out. And then slowly rolling back up. We're going to take one final balance, tree pose. So bringing your right foot to the inside of your left leg. Come to the thigh or the calf. Or making a kickstand. And then bringing your hands to heart center. Just tuning in and growing your branches, whether they be long or cactus arms. As I like to do reverse namaste and get some opening through my wrists. Coming back to that intention. What are you a yes for? What are you drawing in this moment? Good, and then bringing your hands back, releasing, taking tree on the opposite leg. When you're ready, bringing it to your ankle, your calf, or your thigh. Bringing hands to heart center. Oh, good, interlacing the fingers. And then reaching, expanding. Just allowing the openness. Nothing to fix here, nothing else to do. And then release. Coming into the top of your mat. Extended mountain pose. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. You're going to step your right foot forward for warrior 2. So coming up and around, good. Again, checking to make sure your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Extending through your fingertips, long lines of energy. And then we're going to reverse our warrior, so lift up and back. More of that expansion through the side body. Bringing your breath. Good, and then you're going to straighten the front leg, coming into triangle. So hinging at your hips, reaching forward, coming down. Bringing your hand to your calf or the floor. And then looking for length through both side bodies. Using your breath to go a little bit deeper. Taking one more breath here. You have a slight bend in your front knee to bring you back up to standing. Turn both your toes to the side of your mat. Coming into side-facing, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, get long, and then exhale, forward fold. Trying to bring your fingers in line with your toes. Coming forward a bit on your, out of your heels a little bit. Hinging at your hips. Good, pressing into the hands. Releasing a little bit more. And then you can slowly bringing your hands to your hips, coming up with a flat back. Turning your toes to the front of your mat. Bringing your left foot up and in. Excuse me. And then coming into pyramid. So hinging at your hips. You can bring your hands behind you for reverse namaste, or you can keep them on either side of the front foot. It's a nice place for a block too. Again, you have a slight turning towards your right knee, but working to bring your hips in line. So you might have to pull the right hip back. Taking one more deep breath in. Exhale it out. And then dropping your your left hand, opening up for twisting triangle. Inhaling, getting long. Exhale, opening up. And then bringing your hands back to the mat. Stepping back to high plank. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And then stepping your left foot forward, opening up for warrior two. Really grounding down through all four corners of each foot. Hugging muscle to bone in the legs, drawing up long through the side body. Extending through the fingertips. Then you can straighten the front leg, opening up for triangle. So reaching forward, coming down. Opening up. Feeling what's possible for you today. Good, and then you can use your, you can come back up to standing, and then turn your toes to the sides of your mat. I like to interlace my hands behind my back to get a nice opening for the shoulders and the chest. And then inhale, reach up, and then exhale, hinge forward. Good. Trying to bring your palms together, integrating the shoulders to the back, dropping the neck, releasing, letting go, using your breath again, directing it towards those tight spots. And gently release your hands to the mat. And then bringing your hands to your hips, coming up with a flat back. Turning your toes to the front. You can bring your back foot in and up to set up for pyramid. Again, shaking the arms of your choice. If you want them behind the back, reverse namaste. Come hinging forward. Looking for neutral pelvis. So bringing your left hip back, right hip forward. Maybe playing with bending that front knee, seeing how that changes the pose. It gives you access to your body. And then releasing your hands to open up for twisting triangle. Creating length from your pelvis to through the crown of your head. Opening up. And bringing your hands back to the mat. Stepping back for high plank. And then lowering all the way down to the mat. Resting a cheek to one side. Just feeling the support of the earth beneath you. And again, what's changed? What have you created in this through the practice this morning? Setting up for Locust Pose. You can bring your forehead to the mat. Palms long along the side body, palms facing down, and then inhale, press up, lifting your chest off the mat, lifting the legs, hugging into your center line. Taking another deep breath in. Oh, good. Interlacing your fingers, and then slowly releasing back down. Let that go. Just releasing, relaxing. I'm going to take Locust one more time. Bringing your forehead to the mat, palms reaching long. Inhale, come up. Locust. Seeing if you can peel your chest up. One more rib off the ground. And then releasing back down. We're going to take bow pose, so you can grab your ankles. And then when you're ready, kick and lift. You kick and push back to create that opening through the chest. Heart opening, that expansion, allowing. Good, and release. If you want, you can windshield wiper your legs side to side. Just releasing the hips. Good. And then bringing your hands to your lower ribs, pushing up into upward facing dog. And then pressing back into downward facing dog. You can step your feet, and we're going to be coming down to our back for bridge pose. You can walk your feet forward, coming in down to sitting, coming down around onto your back. Good. So checking to make sure your heels are close to your sit bones. And then when you're ready, you can press into your feet to lift your hips up. You can interlace your hands and wrap your shoulders underneath. Again, taking some deep breaths here. Ujjayi breath. Pressing down to lift up. And releasing back down. We have two more here. We're either going to do one more bridge and a wheel, or if you want two wheels or no wheels, that's okay too. So interlacing your hands, we're going to press into the feet, push up for bridge pose. You can, oh, nice, lifting one leg. Look at you. Good. Nice. And when you're ready, you can release back down. Taking one breath here. You can stick with bridge or you can plant your hands for wheel pose. When you're ready, come on up, last bridge. Good. Just opening up. And then slowly coming back down. And then setting up for Supta Bhattachanasana. So your feet are together, knees wide apart. Leave your palms on the ground with palms facing up or palms down for more grounding, or bringing one palm to your chest and to your belly. Just tuning back into your breath. Sending a message of gratitude to your body, all it does for you. And then coming up into happy baby, you can grab the inner or outer edge of your feet and bringing your sacrum to the ground. If you want, you can rock side to side or find stillness. It's that element of play, joy of being in your body and being alive. Good, and then bringing your feet straight above you, extending them long and interlacing your fingers behind your neck. Pressing into your feet to get a slight lift of the legs up, and then lower your right leg down to the front of the mat. Pulse up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bringing that back up. Switch left leg down. Again, hugging the belly button to the spine, pressing up through the top leg. Pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bringing your left leg back up. Release your hands. And then rock and roll forward to back for 3 times. And then you're going to come up into boat pose, Navasana. Bringing your chest towards your thighs. You can hug in or reach your arms out. And then we're going to come into to half pigeon. So if you want to take that on your back, you can stay on your back, or if you want to roll forward into downward facing dog to set up for half pigeon. Good. So bringing your right leg over your left thigh, grabbing behind the leg or on top of the calf. Just coming back to your breath. Seeing what you can release here. Really just directing your breath to those tight pockets. Letting go. See what you can do to let go just 10% more. Is it relaxing your jaw? Maybe softening around your eyes. Maybe taking a deeper breath or extending your exhales. And you can release and switch. Half pigeon on the left. So bringing your left foot onto the right leg. Use your elbow to press the knee out a little bit. Good, like a figure four, wrapping your arms around. Maybe sending a message again of gratitude for your body and all your cells. Affirming what you want for your day, this moment. And you can release your legs out long. And we're a little short on time here. So let's do an inversion. You can either put two waterfalls, so you can put your legs up, or you can take a shoulder stand. Good, walking your hands up, your back. Pressing through your feet. Good, you know what to do. Begin to plow. Deaf man's pose. And then when you're ready, slowly rolling out. We're going to take one last pose. If you want to take Supine Twists on each side or another Supta Bhattachanasana. Just feeling into what your body needs. Just twisting and wringing out. Dropping your shoulder to the ground. Doing the opposite leg. Drawing your knee into the chest. Opening to the side. Maybe scooting your hips more towards the left. And coming back to center, setting up for Shavasana. Good, just expanding, letting your arms, your shoulders roll open, letting your outer edges of your feet, or inner edges of your feet roll open. Taking up space. And just feeling the support beneath you, imagining that I can come and press into your shoulders, opening up, sinking a little bit deeper. Feeling lightness through the legs. Letting it all sink in. I'm going to read from Journey to the Heart for today, May 13th. It says, forgive yourself. Doesn't it feel good to forgive yourself? You don't have to be afraid or reluctant to do that anymore. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean you're condemned. It means you're setting yourself free. We can gather so much guilt as we go through life. We may blame ourselves for the experiences we've had and how we've handled them. We may build up resentments against ourselves. We may even resist forgiving ourselves because we think that means saying we were bad and wrong. But not forgiving ourselves when we need to often leads us to return to situations that are unhealthy for us. Forgiving yourself means you can leave places that feel bad. You can end relationships that no longer work. You can avoid situations that cause you continual pain and grief. Forgiving yourself means you can stop punishing yourself for what you've done and what you think you've done wrong. You don't have to hold your mistakes against yourself any longer. You don't have to deprive yourself of comfort, joy, love, and acceptance. It's much easier to say, I made a mistake. This isn't right for me. I don't like this. This is wrong. Then forgive yourself. Forgive yourself if you've done something wrong. Forgive yourself even if you haven't done something wrong. Then see how good forgiveness feels. Forgive yourself and be free. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe stretching your arms out long over your head. Whole body stretch and opening. And slowly rolling over to your right side. When you're ready, keeping your eyes closed. And pushing up into your sitting. Bringing your hands to heart center. Just acknowledging yourself here. And just showing gratitude for your body and all it does. Bringing your hands to forehead center, to your third eye. Thank you so much for showing up and practicing today. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you. Namaste.